All right, today we're going to walk you through the basics of pike fishing. Tell you how to find the fish, where to find them, where to look, what to fish for them with, and then some of the equipment, rods and reels that we're using just to help get you started. Let's start first with where to fish. The first thing you got to do with pike is find weeds. And up here there's a few different types of weeds. Our favorite is cabbage, and right now we're just anchored over a patch of cabbage and we're casting out into it. What the pike do is they just get into those weeds and they just explode, and they could be, you know, anywhere. Usually we're looking for anywhere from 6 to 10 foot of water with weeds in it, and if it's got 6 to 10 foot of water, then there's a pretty good chance that there's pike, and we're going to be casting into that water. Two main things to think about: color and the depth that the weeds are. So a lot of the weeds will vary, and they'll come right up to the surface, or they'll be in 10 foot of water and they'll be down, you know, 6-8 feet. You can't even see them a lot of times. So based off of the depth is going to drive the lure that you want to use. We've got 3 main lures that we'll recommend that you use. The first one is what I'm using right now, which is a chatterbait, and I've got a little split tail swim bait behind it. And then this is very clear water, so you're talking whites, bright colors, greens, and white colors, but very, very sight driven fish. So white has been by far our best color, and that's what we catch the majority of the fish on. The great thing about the chatterbait is you can get it down deep. You want to use like a 3/8 ounce, or you probably want to have at least 3/8 ounce and 1/2 ounce, so you can get it down into the weeds at the depth that you want, and then run it at that depth. The other lure that we'll use is a MEPS spinner, number 3s, 4s, and 5s. We're using mostly 4s and 5s depending on weed depth. Those don't come through the weeds quite as well, but they're just a staple for pike, and we've caught a whole ton of pike on them. And the last lure is a buzzbait. And so when you've got the weeds that are right up top to the water, tight to the surface of the water, or even if you've got matted weeds or a weed bed that's 2 feet under the water, you know, these are very aggressive fish. They come up and they create some of the best explosions that you could think of, and so it's incredibly fun to catch them with buzzbaits. If you do have a buzzbait, I would recommend that you put a trailer on it. So I've got a split tail, the same trailer on my buzzbait. I've trimmed up the skirt a little bit, and then I've rigged a treble hook trailer on the back of it because I kept getting so many misses, swings and misses. The other thing that we make sure that we use is I've got a 20 pound, and you can use between 12 and 20 pound steel leader on all these lures. If you've never gone pike fishing, they have teeth, and you don't want to be anywhere near their mouths when you are catching pike, especially the big ones. And so we've got fish grippers that we use to be able to get them by the mouth, and then very long pliers. We did have better ones than this, but my dad threw a pair. He throws a pair in the lake every year, so he already did that. All right, so then let's talk about the poles a little bit. So what I'm using are, I've got a medium heavy, extra fast tip rod, and I've got a 6.2 to 1, a 6.3 to 1, and a 7.3 to 1 bait casting reel. And I have one rod that is more of it's a medium heavy moderate action. The reason for that is when you're running these chatterbaits and things with single hooks, you want to have that medium heavy. You can even go heavy action rod with the extra fast tip in order to drive those single hooks through these fish when you're setting the hook. When you're running the MEPS or anything with a treble hook, things like that, I like to have the moderate action rod to let the rod have a little bit of bend. You don't get as deep of a hook set, but you want to be able to have some give, because these fish fight like crazy. They make big runs, so you want to have your drag set to where when they run, you can give them the drag, and but you want to have enough power to be able to horse them around a little bit, because they get down in the weeds, and once they get down in the weeds, it is nasty to try and get them out of it. As far as line goes, I'm running 20 pound fluorocarbon. Like I said, that 20 pound steel leader on there. My dad runs 20 to 30 pound braid on his. The line really doesn't matter that much, other than you're gonna want some heavier line. But you're using a steel leader. These fish are reacting on fast moving baits. They're not looking at your line. So you just want to have something that's like 20, 30 pound that you can take a beating with and pull fish out of the weeds and that type of stuff. At the end of the day, the best way to think about pike is bass with teeth. So if you're a bass fisher, a lot of the things that you're going to use for bass, fast moving crankbaits, spinner baits, anything like that is going to work on them. Usually you want to have a light and a dark color, but even on the dark colors, you want bright colors on it so that you can, you know, you can get those fish to react. This water is super clear. If you're in murky water, then you may want to use darker colors, but definitely have a good mix of light and dark colors. We'll do a video specific to each lure that we've got. We'll do a chatterbait, a buzzbait, and a MEPS video, just so we can go a little bit more in depth into those videos for you. That's pretty much all there is to pike. Hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click probably over here to watch more videos. Thanks for watching.